Welcome to Orgasmica, a place where pleasure becomes medicine, where we speak without fear about sexuality, spirituality, and healing. I'm Virginia Novello, actress, producer, writer, tantric coach, and the creator of this space. This is a reminder that living an orgasmic life is not just about sex. Are you ready to live an orgasmic life? Because by pressing play, you already begun the journey. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Orgasmica, the podcast where we talk all about sexuality, sensuality, and healing. And today, we don't have an interview. You just have me today. And there's a beautiful, amazing space where I have asked you guys if you have any questions regarding sexuality, regarding Tantra, regarding your connection to your body, and you deliver some amazing, delicious, beautiful, connective questions. And I am here to give you my perspective on this and give you a couple of answers. Now, like everything that I say, it is my perspective coming from a specific path, which is the tantric path. But that does not mean that this is the only path that exists. I do not believe in dogma. This is not dogmatic space. This is something that it helped me and has helped thousands and thousands and thousands of women. But if it doesn't work for you, move on and find something that does. All right. So I want to start with the first amazing question. Is it normal that I don't know what I want? And that means, obviously, in this moment, sexually. Oh man, this is such a layer question. Is it normal? Yes and no. Right? Like, yes, because we have been so submitted, so repressed, so disconnected from our sexuality. Unfortunately, it has become normal for a lot of women to arrive into their sexuality, arrive into places of connection with another person and really truly not knowing what they want, what they like, what gives them pleasure, none of that. And so sadly, it is kind of normal, but it is not our normal way of being, right? So our normal way of being is, as women, fully connected, fully tapped into this power that we have, because your sexuality is your power. And the more you realize and understand your body and this portal that I call that it's over here between your legs, the portal of life and death, that's what I call it, because it's such a portal of connection, of life. You know, women create life, and in order to create life, we have to be connected into the space. And our normal, setting, software, you may say, it is a full connection and a full embodiment. And we used to have a lot of spaces where we used to dance and breathe and connect, and we used to have a lot of space to find out what it is that my body specifically, right? What gives my body pleasure, it might be different to what gives you pleasure, right? That it is what it is. Sexuality is not a blanket statement. That's why all these things of how to give the best, this, and how to, make a man come in 5 steps. I don't believe in blanket statements, because I believe every single body, it's a different universe within it. And everybody comes with their own blocks and their own fears and their own perceptions. And our body changes constantly all the time. So what you might like when you were 16, you're not liking when you're 34, and the problem is that we try to enter through the same door about our body, and our body is in constant changing. Our hormones are in constant changing. As women, every single week we have a different perception and hormones and sensibilities to our bodies. So our sexuality even changes week to week, and it is very important to know that. Because it is important to know that when you're ovulating, you might like or are into some things that when you are on your period, you are absolutely not, or when you are in different stages of your cycle. And so it's very important to also get to know your body and your cycle. Like each week is different. Look at your vulva in each week because it looks different. It perceives different. So it is not your fault, I'm going to say, that you don't know what you want. But now that you're aware that you don't know what you want, now it is in your hands to get back to a space where you are the keeper and the holder of your own pleasure and needs and wants. And nobody has that key but you. You have to give yourself permission. You have to battle this misinformation of that getting to know your body is a sin or is dirty or is condemnful, whatever somebody taught you. But all of these things, all of these ideas that condemned the not only pleasure, but the self-knowing of a woman and a woman's body and a woman's desire, all of that, even if you didn't grow up with those words, pretty sure some of your ancestors did. So it is a lot about breaking all those things that you're carrying, because no matter what, we are carrying information from our ancestors, right? We are carrying information from our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers. And even though those words were not said to us, even though the words of like, don't touch yourself and don't, it's a sin or blah, 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 you might have said those words to you, but sometimes you might have never heard those words. But that doesn't mean that your ancestors didn't. And that doesn't mean that they didn't feel shame and were punished for their own pleasure or expressing a desire or being a sexual woman in the world was super punished. So we are carrying some of that. So now it's our responsibility to then they literally decode that and then come back into our own bodies and into our own desires. And it's such a beautiful journey, but it is a very step-by-step journey, right? You're not going to go from here to like, I don't know what I want, to all of a sudden it's like, I want to, a lot of people is like, I don't know what I want, so I'm going to go to the extreme to figure that out. And sometimes they want to go immediately to BDSM or some other kind of like extreme senses. But I think the really deep get to knowing yourself, I think the hardest part is making space for that, like making true space for like, today I'm going to connect with myself and there's a resistance there. Because again, we used to be punished for it. We used to be blamed for it. So it used to be this punishment of it, right? So you're going to have some resistance because all of that is connected to how we are in touch with it, how we actually make space for something that other people have said it is not sacred, and getting back into the sacredness of it. I always said that the magic is in the practice, because knowing information doesn't change much when it's regarding your sexuality. What changes, it's applying it. So the magic is in the practice, meaning you have to create those spaces. You have to do those practices. And I do have several meditation, like tantric meditations, and tantric meditations are involving breath and movement. You can find me also on Insight Timer. I have a couple of English ones. I have a lot of Spanish ones. And you can also have a free meditation on my website called Sex Magic. So you can sort of give a little bit of what I'm talking about, but it's the movement and the breath that are attached to it. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful, beautiful ways of connecting to oneself in that way. So you have the key. So it is normal, but it's not normal that once you know, now you have to do something about it. And it's not just because I want you to have the most amazing, gorgeous, connected sexuality experience in this lifetime, but I do believe that it is every person's responsibility, because it will make the world better. We need women that are sovereign. We need women that are connected to themselves. It is a call to action for all of us into this world. I just see it not only as like, oh, I want to live this life in this connection, but I also see it as the responsibility that I have in this world to become this woman, to be this woman who knows, who dismantles all these lies that our sexuality is dirty, that our pleasure or desire has nothing to do with our power. Like all of this, we have to grab it back. And so it's a good moment to start. Once you know, please start. Do it. Find yourself. If it's not me, find somebody that will guide you through the steps of reconnecting with yourself. Let's go to question number 2. How do I tell my partner I'm not satisfied without hurting them? What a beautiful, beautiful question. That is another thing that they haven't taught us, because sexuality has been such a taboo, and it is only presented to us as like, if it's in a religious state, it's like the duty of the woman and like procreation and all the things. And because we don't know what we want, then it's really hard for another person to come and kind of read our mind. So what we see sometimes in media, right, is that, oh, two people like really have a beautiful connection and they really, really connect, and all of a sudden it's like they just kiss or they just get into the space, and all of a sudden everybody's having orgasms left and right, and it's like explosive. Now that does happen, right? But even with the people that has happened to me, right, when I have had like really explosive like first times and things, it is not necessarily about them knowing what to do with my body, of me. It's about also the excitement of the anticipation of really wanting to be with somebody. So that means like my energy is so charged, right? There's so much eroticism in that space that anything that person does is like electric, magnetic, like da 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 da. But then, because I have stayed with those people for a long time, because I end up in relationships with them, then I can tell you that fizzles out, and we expect that we can have that same energy that was creative out of anticipation into the settled groundness of what sexuality is. Now, when you reach that point, a lot of people get really frustrated because it's like, well, I used to feel this way about this person, or I used to feel so attracted to them, and like now, I don't know, I see them fart, I see their humanness, and they're not as like mysterious and attractive to me anymore before I saw their humanness. And so this is when it comes, the depth of connection and conversation, right? But and it is about exploration. Part of exploration, it is having a conversation in the positive instead of in the negative. And that's something that I really, really recommend. So instead of you going, oh yes, I really don't like what you're doing. Like anybody that gets criticism in a space that is highly vulnerable, it is a very specific way to talk to a person when it's in that space. I can relate in many other places, right? I'm also an actress. So when I'm in a very vulnerable space, when I'm in a scene crying, and if the director comes to me and he's like, this is horrible, what are you doing? I'm going to immediately shut down. I'm wide open over here, right? And so the act of connection and intimacy is like you opening yourself so much. Like your heart is open, your soul is open, your body is open, all of it is open. And so when you come into the negative, the person is going to shut down. So I recommend the positive, and the positive means, what I would love to explore with you. I have always wanted to feel this safe with a person, that I can tell them something that I really wanted to do, and you are that person. Make that person feel chosen, feel good, feel in this space where they're like excited to try certain things. Most of the time in the negative, we shut down and it's not productive. But when it's in the positive of what you want, it's like the exploration, I really would like to explore this. And if the other person is like, I don't know, and you can also say, this thing that you used to do to me, and my body is changing and it doesn't feel good anymore, because we're scared of that. Because let's say your person did something that was like, wow, one time, and then he's like, that is his signal, right? That is the person's signal to be like, okay, I'm going to go and do this because she likes it. And that's what humans do. We are creatures of habit, but also creatures of science. It's like, you're giving me a sign that that's what you like, and so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try to repeat it as much times as you need it. But guess what? Maybe you were maybe you were ovulating, and now you don't like it where you're in this space, and you're like, shit, but I did tell him that I really like that, and now I don't like that, so I'm going to stop. I'm just going to pretend that this is okay. And that is the problem, right? When we don't like something, or when something is not feeling good, the majority of women don't feel comfortable saying, this is not feeling really good right now. Or I would like guiding your person. That is something that is extremely intimate and beautiful, being able to guide somebody into your pleasure. Again, just because they found certain spots at a certain time, especially when you're with somebody for a long time, does not mean that you've been lying this whole time. Right? You can say like, I used to really like that, but guess what? My body is changing. I'm older. Also, like, maybe I like this in my ovulation, but I don't like this right now. And like, just speaking about it, but also don't forget to add an element of like, I'm really excited to try this with you. Oh my God. You know what? This is not doing it for me, but guess what? Wouldn't that be, but I really want to try this other thing with you. I feel like I explore this with myself. Maybe you can say that. I explore this with myself and I really like it. And I would love to explore this with you as well. And so it is a way of keeping the openness going instead of shutting down with criticism and negative thoughts or negative things. And so it could be a beautiful way of finding and discovering, because I am a very, 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 as you guys know, all about discovering yourself first in order to share with somebody, but also somebody can also discover you in ways that you might have never discovered yourself. And so allowing ourselves to be discovered by somebody else is also such a beautiful, amazing, sacred space. You have to feel obviously safe, right? And safety also includes conversation. I cannot fully feel safe if I don't tell you, these are my no's, these are my yeses, these are my maybes, these are something that I want to try. And I know that you will respect that. In that, when I know you will respect that, I will so much relax into my body that I will let you guide me as a woman. I would let you go into places that I could have never gotten myself or discover with you, and how a blessing that is. But that doesn't just happen like this. It happens because it's a build of connection. It's a build of trust, and it's a build of conversations that need to happen in order for you both to discover each other in that. You cannot just go in being like, I have something fun to do with you, without having the conversation on knowing what the person is comfortable and not comfortable. Because then it cracks. When trust is broken in sexuality, it cracks in such a deep, deep way in our bodies that it's really, really hard to come back to. Not impossible, but really hard to come back to. And so I really recommend all those things. I do have a list, the yes, no, maybe list, that you can email me and I can give it to you. And it's a list that I got from the BDSM community that I love. And I'm not part of that community, but I learned from every single community. And one of the things that I learned from them is communication. And they have this list of yes, no, maybes. And so you do it as a menu and you can revise as many times as you need or want. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to start a conversation of things that you want to try and things that you don't want to try. So then you can come into a space where knowing where your boundaries are, which is so important for trust in your body. All right, the next and last question. Let's see. What if I'm scared of being too sexual? This person gave me a long message, which I really appreciate, saying how she has never had like a problem with her sexuality. She always felt very sexual. But as to now, she is, as the older she gets, she's feeling really vulnerable and really scared of still being that sexual woman, because she has had past experiences where she was punished, and she thought as a teenager like fuck off, or she thought as a like in her 20s is like, I don't care, I'm still gonna do my own thing. But now she realizes that she has it deep within her body, all these scarlet letters, let's call, for her being too comfortable in her sexuality. So this is normal. This happened to me. And I'm going to be honest, this still happens to me. It's so deep rooted in when I speak up, when I am my full sexual being, I become a target. I become a target for people that don't understand what sexuality is, that they take that as a like, oh, that means like if you're a sexual being, that means that you're just, having sex with everybody, or are you in an open relationship? But like that, like, is that has no. But also, I am a target for a lot of people's opinions against a woman that it is in her power, because they see that as a threat. And not only men, other women might too. And I don't fault the women at all, by the way, and neither do I fault the men. I know it's part of the system, but we need to start having more conversations about it. But I do get a little scared sometimes, and then I have to remind myself that this work that I'm doing, that connecting to myself and my power, is not only for me, it is for the world. And I do believe that for the women that were punished before me, for the women that were censored, for the women that were burnt, for the women that were punished for just being themselves and their magical magnetic selves, which is our normal state of being, right? And so it is little step by step. Also, I have to be very careful myself to not push myself to the limit of it and to be like, I don't care, I'm gonna freaking do this, because my nervous system gets so dysregulated. Because if I don't feel safe and my nervous system doesn't feel regulated when I'm stepping into, let's say, a stage where I'm talking to 100 people and I know I'm gonna have some looks, or I'm gonna have some this, or I'm gonna, even with my own family, right? There's discussions within my own family that they don't agree with me, and necessarily a lot of the things that I do. I feel their love, I feel their deep love, but also there's a sense of sorry, there's a sense of, I don't know if it's disappointment or it's more like they don't really quite get it. And so there's a sense of being kind of outside of the tribe, in a sense, that is really deep rooted within me, and that I have to work a lot to connect with myself and connect with the love, and knowing that when people don't understand me, or they don't get it, or they don't know why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, there's still deep love, and I am still safe. Safety, it is the word here. In a world where all the time we're getting told that we're not enough, that we're not okay, that your body's not good, that you need to buy A, B, C, D, E, F, G in order to be okay. And it is a consumerism, capitalist world where all the time you're getting that, and where you're refusing to be part of that. There is a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean? Why are you not buying that? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not looking like that? And it's going to be hard. So part of the main job of doing this, of being a sexual woman in the world, is knowing how to regulate your nervous system, knowing when to be out in the world, and then I have to then come back into my center when I'm dysregulated. It's having the tools to regulate my nervous system when I'm doing something scary, when I'm posting a podcast, when I'm posting something on TikTok that I know it's going to be controversial and I am going to get a lot of hate. I have to prep my nervous system for getting that hate, for being like, there's nothing personal, there's nothing wrong with me by speaking up about this. So it's prepping and understanding it, and also understanding your body when it is safe, and there are circumstances when it is not. And you have to know the difference and be guided with your body, because your body will tell you, you know what, right now it's not safe. There are certain conversations that I cannot have with certain type of people because it becomes unsafe. And unsafe means I'm going to get either attacked, or I'm going to get yelled at or scream at, or, threatened, or all kinds of ways. So then I'm like, not here, not in this moment. I'm not going to have this conversation. And you have to discern. Now, do I not be myself all the time? No. I am who I am. And I'm working towards being even more so who I am, regardless of that. But I also cannot tell you, that there is a world out there that is still not very comfortable with a very sexual woman, or a woman in her power, and that they will try to, either by gossip, by your reputation, by talking about you, by all this thing, to tear it down. It is not necessarily their fault. It's the system that they got ingrained to. It is very sad, but we need more of us to gather together. That is also the other part. It's community. You need a community of women that you can be that fully with yourself, that they celebrate that part of you, which I'm so blessed that I have, that they cheer you, they push you, they complete you, they go, yes, yes, go, go, go. And they're also a safe space when you're like, oh, fuck, I'm too tired to fight. And they're like, that's okay, rest, we got you. Being sustained and also sustaining, it is like highly, highly important. So a group of women where you can truly be yourself and feel safe in and dance and move and be sexual and talk about sexuality, it is of highest importance. That is how we used to connect with each other. That is how we used to be powerful. It is what making circles by doing rituals together, by connecting, by talking about our sexuality, but by honoring our sexuality amongst each other and not have any shame or fear or anything attached to it until then we got punished for it. And so going back into community is so, so, so very beautifully important. I hope that this was helpful. And if it wasn't, you can absolutely move on from it. But I love talking to you guys in this space. Please send me more of your questions. I love having all these conversations with you, and it feels so good to do it in this way when it's like feels like a one-on-one, even though I'm not seeing you, but it does feel like a one-on-one thing. It feels like I can connect more deeply with you, and I'll be doing more lives as well as I'll be doing a 14-day free connect, like releasing this year from your body somatically. And then next year I have also a free course and a normal course about connecting with your sexuality. But first we need to release the year. We need to slow down. We need to be in that space so then you can have all the force, all the energy to just manifest and eat the world from the between your legs, from that amazing power. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the podcast community. Please, please, please follow if you haven't. Follow, subscribe if you're doing it on YouTube, follow here, and leave a review. It really, truly helps so, so much. If you leave a review, if you share this episode with somebody that needs to hear it, it is incredibly powerful, and it allows me to keep doing this. So thank you so very much. I'll see you guys next week in a Spanish episode.